In terms of open studios in general, this is the 20th year of the event. For the last 15 years, it's been 8 to 12 artists working at it, and a number of members of the group have been in the event for in the neighborhood of 20 years at this point. I think for me, it's always exciting to sell a piece, but I really enjoy interacting with people about the work. Everything from built the first half of it by myself in the late 80s. I've utilized element structure and also tried to incorporate a little bit of a feeling of maybe 19th century factory building at the same time, which probably is a connection to some factory work I did in old factories when I was a college student. The size and scope and nature of their work, kind of bending the architecture of each site to suit their needs, whether it's using rooms inside their house or necessitating, separate buildings and outbuildings. And I think in that respect, it can show that artists, it's not just the creativity in the work. It's kind of a whole creativity in integrating your lifestyle into a complicated modern culture that doesn't necessarily easily support being an artist.
When people visit my studio during the Artist Open Studios, or anytime they visit, in fact, I want the experience to be both exciting and informative. There's always a lot of projects going on here, sculpture, paintings. I want the space to be welcoming and filled with color and high activity. There's usually snacks, music, art publications, and handouts to look at, and I love answering questions about all the different materials I use. And it's been said that the final step in the completion of a visual work of art is when someone looks at it. So for me, the Open Studios event provides an audience which completes the creative process.
Unlike a visual arts event in a public setting, such as in a gallery or at a festival, what's unique about Artist Open Studios is how much you can see a fuller scope of how an artist works. You're able to see older work, newer work, and some work in progress. You can get a sense of how the physical setup supports their technique and to see the range of materials that the individual explores. Viewing some work by an artist in public or online gives us a glimpse. However, here you're looking at how an artist is evolving, and it's a deeper look. It's important for me to keep my hand in artwork and creating as my lifestyle changes. But I'm definitely inspired by nature. I think that has a lot to do with the rural setting that I grew up in and choose to live in now. So when I paint, a lot of times the inspiration will just be clippings from my gardens. So I'll take a little walk around the yard and choose something colorful, something with an interesting shape. And living in New England really is a great way to have a changing and constant source because our natural environment changes with the seasons.
Behind the gardens, behind the house, is the studio where the magic happens. Once a year, I open my door to the public and invite them in to see the glass being formed and the reality of a molten material creating forms that can last a lifetime. As you approach the studio, you might hear the birds chirping, the neighbors maybe having a little party in the back. But behind my studio is a slight roar, and you will hear the glass furnace melting the glass at 2300 degrees, ready for use to become whatever that day entails.
Faces, making face glasses today. My name is Tom Grabbert. I'm a potter living in Hope, Rhode Island.
Good.
I have worked in porcelain.
Okay, you're gonna hold this hand like so.
Yeah.
And you're gonna take these three hands and you're gonna...
3 fingers.
Like this.
I've worked in porcelain for a period of 40 years and have developed a unique palette of rich tone, lead-free glazes to complement my work. I studied at Rhode Island School of Design, and my work has been sold in galleries throughout the United States. Feel free to set up an appointment to visit my studio in shop.
Well, now you want to see the artist.
That's usually what happens to me when I do these things. Just flying off.
Welcome to my farm and studio. During AOS events, visitors get to experience its transformation from a cow barn to a workshop. They get to look out the windows onto the fields and see what I see by going to the third floor gallery and view my framed photographs hanging down from the hand-hewn chestnut beams. My work documents my farm chores and projects. I just mindlessly shoot whatever's going on that day, and after a while they assemble themselves into topics. I go with the flow. I don't need to travel to national parks to photograph nature. I live in it and look within. All sorts of animals visit us. Some are in transit, others stay for a season, or, in the case of a family of beavers, for multiple generations. At first, we tried to control them with daily visits to the dam to take down last night's reconstruction. I thought that I could outsmart them, but now I have accepted that they won and I lost. What used to be a small brook is now a large pond surrounded by open space. Pools of water appeared and disappeared. Reflections took over and ice created new shapes. Pollen floated on the water and became ghostly creatures shaping the new landscape in my head. My images morphed into a multi-seasonal time-lapse. I kept saying, wow. One day, our family dog accompanied me, grabbed a naked beaver branch in his mouth, and ran back to the farmhouse. I followed him, running alongside with my camera shooting away. I was beside myself. It was as if I were walking beside him, like a third-person selfie. Suddenly, despair became excitement. I became a kid again. A beginner's mind reappeared, just like in the darkroom, watching images magically appear under the safe light. So the garden, the rows of rime-covered veggies, sunflowers blowing in the wind, sunsets, and storm clouds all appeared. I knew I was in the right place when I followed the sun, just like the sunflowers, and admire the beautiful but fleeting rainbow.